beating it like a dead beating a dead horse with the vouchers. But
Uh-huh.
before we talked about the white glove service, I know some people had done the chat with the Zendesk, and then they had emailed member services, and the people that had tried to reach out, they were getting member services reps that had no clue what they were talking about.
Yeah, we had just hired a whole bunch of brand new people just with and so they should be all up and trained now though.
Okay, so am I correct that it's the Zen Help chat people or emailing the member services that goes to the same team?
Yeah,
Correct?
it goes to the same place. So if you go in your back office, so you got to remember there's two teams. Okay. There's the team that does just travel, related stuff. And then there's, and when I say travel related stuff that's actually on the portal. Okay. So just remember, if it's on the portal and you're having some issue with like your travel, whether it's a hotel you booked or a cruise you booked or whatever, that's one team. The other team is what you'd get to in the back office. In the back office or the 1-800 number, when you call the 1-800 number, there's two options. There's travel related things. And even though the vacation voucher is travel related, it's different than the portal team. The travel related stuff is again, everything on the portal. But if you're having an issue with an ERC or a vacation voucher, then you call you go through the Zendesk in the back office.
And so that particular team is called the member services team.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep. That's
okay.
Exactly.
I thought that was correct. Okay.
So
and
remember,
then
remember JIFU is a platform, right? So as we get into more and more things like Calvin was talking about, we have the different products that are coming out. That's going to all go through member services as well too. So.
Okay. So will that kind of branch out to where there'll be like trained people on product questions, trained people on travel questions and
Correct.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. And I know there was a couple of things that we had asked about being added to the back office. The one thing that's popping out right off the top of my head is the well, there's two things. The trial counter or having a remaining counter for those people that don't have the unlimited. Like having that put in there so that you know how many are left.
So for sure, I understand. I'm not sure exactly how to do that, to be honest with you. We can bring that up with Lucas. I know that's been a request for a little while.
But
we'll see what we can actually do on that.
I had a couple of suggestions on that. I'm the one that privately messaged you on the Telegram too, and then Calvin said that I should connect with Lucas on that. To give, I've got quite a few ideas that to really help max.
We're always open to ideas. We're always open to ideas, and as long as it's not horribly difficult to do, we'll always try to find some solution to it.
Yeah, and the other thing was the when you qualify for the fast movers bonus, because Calvin, has said, well, you've got your 5, you've got your 10. Well, if someone drops off, replace that person. And people become inactive just for a variety of reasons. Something as simple as their credit card just for some reason didn't process. So knowing that if someone dropped off, that you can quickly replace them before the quarter's over, so that you don't miss out on that bonus. And am I correct? As long as those 5 or 10 are active during the whole quarter, like all 3 months, they have to have their
we're gonna publish those rules. These are questions that we get quite a bit. In fact, I was talking to Calvin and Damian about this 2 days ago, Calvin, and we're gonna get a sheet put together so that everybody has 100% understanding of the rules. One of the things that I'm not sure if you guys are aware of, let me go into a dead not a dead account, but it's an account that we play with at corporate, let me put it that way. Just a second.
Because I know this was kind of formulated from what we had in the previous company, and the rules for that was that in order to keep that bonus, the people's auto ship, or in this case the monthly service fee, would need to have processed all 3 months in order that person to count for
Yeah, I
you.
mean, it's a big bonus. So obviously we want to make sure that we're, that's big enough for us to all be able to utilize, right?
Oh, of
So
course.
here,
I'm just saying it would be a shame if like you didn't know that someone
for
dropped
sure,
off
for
and,
sure.
and you quickly need to replace them before the quarter's over.
Yep. Absolutely. There's somebody waiting to come in, Calvin. So just so you know, this is where we test things all the time. Okay. And so this isn't necessarily a person, but one of the things that we want to do is like we were talking about right here is where it would actually pop up and it would show that they're, fast mover eligible. And then what we'd want to do is do something like this down here where it says that they've met the conditions, that you've met the conditions, right? It's personally enrolled left, personally enrolled right should kind of help, but there's always the report center as well too. And in reality, one of the things that we ought to do is go in and show you guys how this report center works. Have you guys ever played with this?
Yeah, I've given trainings and explained it, how it works.
Cool.
Yeah, but
That's great.
cool. It'd be cool just to have, you said, some blue tiles for fast movers only, and so it shows.
Yeah, that's what we're going to try and work on. It's just our system is so crazy powerful. In fact, it was just purchased by one of the largest, Exigo. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Exigo. I know a lot of you guys came from a different company, but a lot of times, like for example, for us to build our own system is a complete waste of time. I'll just be honest with you guys. It's a complete waste of time because there's so many great systems out there. But this company was actually just purchased by Exigo, which is one of the largest in the world. And one of the things that we love about it is our ability to go in and make changes to things, right? And the other thing that we're able to do is go in and create custom reports. And this may be the fastest way to actually do it, to be honest with you, until we get the blue tiles up and going. So what I'll do is I'll talk with Lucas and Weston, as soon as possible to actually go in and make a fast mover report. And see if that's not a way that we couldn't jumpstart this. But this is probably one of the most underutilized areas. In fact, you guys can actually create your own report where you can go in and create columns. You can determine what it is that you want to see. Are they active? What was their last order? There's so many things in here that you can actually do. And if there's something that you say, hey, I want to know if I can do this, and we'll go in and see if it's actually possible or not. But this is an area where you can go in and get a lot of things done without having to feel like you have to call customer service and things like that. So anyway, so that's
yeah, the one. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're okay.
The one thing that when Calvin did the training on this that I brought up that may be another good report is the like travel, and I don't see it as a column. The trial memberships, you see the date they enrolled, but so that's which takes me to my next question. When that's expiring, their 30 days, that's an opportunity to enroll them as a member or an affiliate. So if we had a report there that was you could pull out the trial members, but also had the column of their expiration date, that would be helpful for you to, be able to reach back out to those people, which takes me to my next question. When someone's trial membership is over, because I just had this happen, when they go to log back into the system with their email, does it automatically prompt them to become a member or to join as an affiliate? What exactly do they see?
That's a really good question. We just made a massive change to it. And so I'd actually have to talk with the guys and see what they did in terms of an alert. But that's a really good question. I can try to give an answer for you on that. In fact, one of these times, what we ought to do is actually have, Jim and Lucas actually jump on one of these trainings. And again, because I try to get into the weeds, but I'm also bad at getting into the weeds because I cause problems myself, right? So, so let's set it. Let me try to find that out from the team if you don't mind.
Well, because right now, since we've had, have been a little, some of us have, been 6 weeks, some of us have been a month. Those people that did join as a trial, that's what, we're coming up against that right now. I just came up with that. I had someone who said, oh, I poked in there, I looked around, and now I want to book something, and now I can't sign in. And so I just want to know what they see so I can intelligently, give them their options.
Okay. Yeah, and is there an option for if I had somebody using a free trial and it expired, I can give them another one and we can clear their email from the system?
That's kind of a huge pain, to be honest with you. So if they want another one, they're going to have to do a different email.
Okay, so that's the answer then. So they just
Yep.
need a different email. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So perfect. Okay.
Okay, well, I'll hop off and let someone else answer some questions.
Okay,
But
if you have any other questions, you can come back, Heather. So no worries. All good.
I'm sure I will.
You will. I knew that
I
was
can
gonna
have
be the-
I can have my whole hour with Brad probably,
Okay, cool.
but I won't do that.
All right. So
Thanks, Brad.
so
Yeah, you bet.
Nahal says it's a question.
Oh, is it just me or is he stuck?
Calvin, you dropped out a second. Okay, well, let me see. I can see her question here. She says, is the company planning on becoming a member of the DSA?
Yeah, of course. It's so funny. The DSA is kind of a funny organization. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about becoming a member of that for quite some time. During COVID, we didn't, but that is something that we need to do. Doug Allen, who's currently our COO, he just was down at a big DSA event in Dallas, actually. I believe it's in Frisco. So he was down at that.
Just north of
What's
me.
that?
You guys, sorry.
Yeah, it's just north of me. We've had some meetings here and trainings with our previous teams before. We're in a hotbed right here for sure.
Yeah, and so he was just down at that.
Dallas. Those are the two for all the headquarters.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, he was down at that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So I think that
cool.
people don't understand, especially like network marketers. They think you have to be on these lists in order to be legit, but they don't understand the corruption of network marketing, those DSAs and like business for home. You got to pay them. They want you to, to be a part of it. So it's not what people think, but it's just the 90% of people really believe that that's how it should be. So it's funny when people think that you're not on the DSA, that you must not be legit. No, they just want you to pay them. It's just to be on their list. So, but I mean, it is a good list to be on if you do pay, but just so you guys know.
Yeah, and there's and to your point, Calvin, there's ones there's like different regional ones, and there's there's so many of them, and it's essentially it's a typically company or groups like this are essentially they go back and lobby, and that's really what you're paying for is lobbying. So anyways, it's an interesting world, but yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that we follow the rules of the DSA. We make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing. But yeah, we are currently not, but we hope to be.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? If not, Heather's going to jump back in right now and ask any. And when we're done, because we got some work to do here.
I will.
Okay, Heather, go ahead then. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm jumping back in. Okay. We briefly touched on the health products and when you were showing the logos and all of that. How are those going to be fulfilled? Where are they shipping from? Like I'm thinking of just a fulfillment. Will you guys like North America will be fulfilled and shipped from Salt Lake or Idaho?
So here, let me just share this screen really quick. These are the mock-ups right now. Have you guys seen these? I'm not sure if you have or not.
Yeah, you showed on the last call we did on Tuesday.
Yeah, I can't remember what I shared with who. So this is actually in production right now. So Calvin's wife is using it already. My wife's using it already. I actually have some other samples of it right here, sitting here at my desk. I'm trying to look more beautiful every day. But in terms of actual logistics, these are actually being produced again in Texas right now, and the 3PL, what we call 3PL, the distribution, will probably have it up here in Utah, just because this is where most of the executives and owners are now. And so that's the goal there. In terms of out of Europe, it'll be distributed out of Amsterdam. We also have some distribution that's happening in Poland as well too. So, and then in terms of the Middle East, most likely it will be out of Dubai. So, and are you guys able to hear me, Calvin? It sounds like it's having some internet connections.
All right. Well, I'm good. Let me check see the chat here.
All right, Aaron says he's good too. So,
okay, let me.
Yeah, we can hear we can hear each other, Calvin. I think you're having some internet issues down there at the Marriott. So
okay, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, I also want to know, and I've gotten a little bit of the story, but how exactly did Damian find JIFU?
I met Damian in Dubai. I was over there for a cryptocurrency, and
Wow.
I had the opportunity to meet him. I was over at quite a few different crypto events, and meeting with some different guys inside of.
Hey, Brad, when you talk crypto, you sound kind of sketchy, just so you know that, because of crypto, but tell them that you have a degree in blockchain, you've made your own, so anyways.
Yeah, no. So crypto to us is, if it's done right, is really good. I think the way that most network marketing companies do it is really bad, to be honest with you. In fact, I think that you'll notice you guys can look at my LinkedIn profile. We own a blockchain called Kingaroo. The coin is called Crew. It's really, we built it essentially to replace Visa. Just so you guys understand, let me just give you some background on every time you guys swipe a card and pay for something at JIFU, we're paying between 3 and 6% to Visa. It's a wildly expensive. It's crazy expensive. And then the other thing is, typically the credit card processors will hold on to your money for as long as 6 months. They hold what's called a reserve. And so that's another anywhere between 3 and 10%, depending on what your company is. And so by doing that, they just sit on it, and they do what they do. And so we actually came up with the idea of essentially replacing Visa through the blockchain. And there's limitations currently, and I could go into this for a long time. I actually went and you can see behind me, I've got a degree from MIT in blockchain and crypto technologies. It's coming. And here in the United States, we tend to be a little bit more, believing. I sit on the board of a bank, right? And it's a large credit union. And we tend to have this belief in our banking system that's pretty amazing. But understanding how much money banks make and how much money Visa card makes and things like that, that's why we created it. So I don't want you to think that we're sketchy or trying to do anything. If a network marketing company is doing something where you're selling a coin, or most of them are tokens, there's a difference between a coin and a token. And if they're selling tokens and paying you a commission on it, that's in violation of almost every securities law you can imagine. And so we'll never do that. And that's why we have a separation between JIFU and what we're doing at Crew. So, but yeah, so I met Damian over there. I was over there doing some stuff for Crew, and was able to meet with Damian and a couple other potential leaders. And there's actually still a lot of leaders that I know over in that area that are still kind of in the wait and see period, which I think is a massive mistake. Some of the guys that I met with, clear back in October, November, they're kind of sitting and kind of doing this wait and see kind of thing. But they're getting passed by fairly quickly, wouldn't you say, Calvin?
100%, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of volatility in network marketing right now. It's almost like there's this massive change. And in fact, living here in Salt Lake City, in fact, tonight I've got to take my daughter down to a birthday party at Paul Southam's house. And between my drive from here and driving, Paul Southam's one of the partners here in JIFU, and between my house and his home, you can't even count the number of MLM companies. And they all do the exact same thing. They copy each other's compensation plan. They go to the same places and manufacture product. There's very, very little. There's very, very little creativity going on in the network marketing space. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of people go to these scams. So like Calvin was talking about, and I don't want to name the scams by name, but my gosh, it blows me away that there's no either real good digital product or real good physical product. It's truly something that's crazy. So yeah, so that's what's crazy to me. And so we'll never do anything that's scammy. In fact, it was funny right before I'm going to show you guys a picture. There's a picture of my dad and I. Okay. I know I'm a little bit young there, but this was when I was a junior in high school. We went and shot confiscated guns from the FBI. Okay. My dad was a federal judge. He was what was called a chief magistrate for the 9th district so each one of the judicial districts are set apart, right? I grew up in a home where the law was the most important thing, and that's how we feel. Matt Garf's the same way. His dad was Speaker of the House for the state of Utah. Very, very, very influential family, and reputational currency is worth a lot more than monetary currency does. And so we'll never do anything that's sketchy or strange. So I hope that answers that question, Calvin.
Yeah, I will say I'm very new to the whole ideas of crypto and all of that. And I did go and look up your other business. There's an education piece that obviously we're adding to this that will be very useful. Yep. For us naive people. you know, my mother worked 40 years in the brokerage business and retired from Goldman Sachs. So I am very, you know, stocks and bonds and CDs and those you know, old, you know, traditional established forms of currency to have money. And then of course I'm concerned about the different things about the environment with cryptos and those sorts of things. And I do know that when I looked at your website that you do have a where it said like the lowest footprint, carbon footprint, and I believe, and that's pretty important to some people as well. So when we get to that portion of the company growing, that'll be important. And the last thing I'll say, with Dr. Vincent Giampapa, who I know is behind the Glow line, I think he was the most underutilized person that we had in the previous company, because it's not every day that you have a 2 times Nobel Prize nominated doctor behind products in network marketing. That is what really can set us apart, is utilizing, putting him on the forefront and adding credibility. I think Nobel Prize nominated doctor may even give more credibility than, you know, being a member of the DSA, for example. So
for sure. And let me clarify something really quick. So Dr. Giampapa, he was one of the formulators for what's called AC11. Okay, AC11 is what's inside of Glow. And so he's not a spokesperson for us. I want to make sure that that's really clear. But you know, the company that he is a part owner in is the one who's supplying us the AC11. And you know, if you go in and search out the AC11 stuff, you'll be able to see all the technology and actual studies behind it. One of the big things that's so important to us is that you know, we want to make sure that whatever we do has actual validity and what's right, I would say, value sitting behind it, right? And so we don't want people, again, we could go make any product, right? Again, on my way to Paul Southam's house, I'm going to pass 6 different manufacturers of network marketing products, right? And it'd be so easy for us just to go and grab a lotion and a skincare that's so easy to make, that has nothing in it that's unique or different. And so just be really careful saying that Dr. Giampapa is a spokesperson, because he's not for us. But we're buying from a company called oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of it. Hold on, just saying, I'll think of what it is. But that is the technology that was produced sitting there. And so we'll make sure you guys have the right way to say it. We're super, super grateful that we have that AC11 in our product. It's amazing. In fact, inside this product right here, one of the things that's really interesting is, I'll show this to you really quick. I don't know if you can see that. This is actually the eye repair treatment. Okay, you'll notice it has kind of a brown tone to it. That is the AC11 that's creating that color. And so it's amazing. So as we get closer and closer to how this is you know, as we get closer and closer to this launch, you guys are going to be well armed with the information you need to be able to say it the right way and do it the right way. So, because it is amazing. In fact, my wife, who you know, she is very, very particular on her skincare, if you will. She has, you know, so many regimens that I watch her do, and she loves this stuff. She was actually using the Jeunesse product as well. She loved that. But this she says is just unbelievable. So
yeah, same here. My wife Shannon, I mean, the last company we were with obviously did $1 billion, so that skincare product was obviously working. But my wife, she didn't like it because she didn't like the way it was on her skin. It broke her out. This skincare she's been using for the last couple months, she's in love with it. She's like, please get me more, please get me more. So that's why I was talking to Kyle about it. But anyway, she loves it. I love the presentation of the product. I love the smell of the serum. I mean, our last company, nope, I didn't like that smell. But it's just everything's right. So it's going to be really, really cool. I'm excited. I'm excited for one of our.
I'm looking forward to trying it. All right,
awesome,
I'll hop off. I see some questions in the chat.
Cool. Thanks, Heather. So real quick, Nahalasa had another question regarding flights. And I know if this were the case, this were the case, I'm going to get to the question, then Expedia would take it off. Like, there's no reason to. People just have to be educated on how flights work with travel portals. Because, for example, the flights on the JIFU travel portal I've used, because I book business class, I book first class. I'm always getting discounts. Just like when I was a Damian, he booked the first class ticket, saved $800 using JIFU. So explain to everybody why flights are on travel portals, why it's not necessarily where you want to search for flights. I mean, buy your flights, but maybe search for them. But why are removing the flights from portal? Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the big things is because there are savings on certain times, right? But just so you understand, typically if you go into a travel agency, there's no margins on flights themselves. There just isn't. A lot of times what the booking or what the travel agency will do is charge you a ticketing fee. Okay, because that's how the only way they can make money on actually booking flights. It's really simple for people to look at it from the aspect of one thing. If you can save money on business class and overseas, then it makes sense. The other thing that's important to understand is a lot of people like to use their travel reward credits that they get either through free trials or through usage, right? And so if they want to use those and book towards flights, that's great too. Because again, that's a savings in and of itself. But that's where I want to make sure that, we tell people very straight up, do not book if it's more expensive. I will be honest with you. I book straight through Delta almost exclusively. And it's just simple because if things change, for example, Calvin, when were you here last? I'm trying to remember. Calvin was supposed to head home.
3 days ago.
I showed him some homes up above my home. He just needs to come buy one. But there's he was in the morning. He's heading out. He's getting ready to leave at 11 a.m. I texted him, said, hey, the other guys want to stay, talk about a few more things. He changed his flight. It was super easy. So it's just easier to do it that way. If you book through any company, whether it's Expedia or something else like that, making changes to tickets is very difficult. In fact, I can tell you with a surety that booking.com outsources their flights to a company in England. I've had to deal with them before. It took me 9 hours to change my son's flight to China earlier this year. So it's just kind of one of those crazy things that you got to understand that you do have some more flexibility when you book directly with the flights or directly with the airline companies.
Okay, cool. So another question from the same person. We're talking about tokens down the back office, the fact that we can use tokens. Why would people use tokens, first of all, so everybody knows on here, but also, can you make an option for us to determine the value of tokens we want to buy instead of just predetermined values? Maybe you can explain why there's predetermined values. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've tried to make it so that there's for almost any value that's going to need to be utilized. Now, as we break into products, it's going to change just a little bit. But the idea behind tokens is there's a lot of people that don't have credit cards, and strangely enough, I think the number in Germany is like only 30% of the people actually have a credit card, which blows me away. Right? They have something that they use a lot more often called SEPA, it's SEPA. It's very similar to here in the United States, like an ACH. And so typically what they'll do is for us to tie into SEPA. We actually have a tie into SEPA, but in a lot of different places, if somebody wants to purchase something online, typically they'll give their friend some cash, right? And so what our tokens are designed for is if somebody doesn't have a credit card or they don't have and we're not talking here in the United States. I know this is like so strange in the United States because in my wallet, I mean, gosh, I have, how many freaking different credit cards? I've got business credit cards. I've got personal cards. I've got debit cards. I've got, all these different things. And in different parts of the world, that's not necessarily the case. So a lot of times people will give cash to their friends, and then what they'll do is they'll send them this token code is what it's utilized for. And so the token code, there's no necessary preset value. It's not like a cryptocurrency that goes up and down. Once you buy that token, it just takes it out of your wallet, and then from there you're actually able to turn it into a way that your friend can enroll or pay for the monthly membership or something like that.
Okay, cool. So really quickly, because just so you know, yeah, there's going to have to be a way in the future where we actually
Go ahead, say it again, Calvin. We lost you partway through.
I said there's going to have to be a way that we set our token value in the future, because we did that in our last company, and with products and everything, it's going to change. We just were able to create a token, put the amount in there, and then it issues the token, and then we give it to our partner.
For sure.
Okay, cool. So how does someone even if you sent someone the token, so you create a token in your back office and then you send it to somebody, what do they do at checkout? Put their token in?
Yeah, let me go back to that SAM space. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, because it's a good part of the training for people to understand how tokens work. Even in the US, people will give cash.
Yeah, I've been shocked at how much people are using. Hold on a second. May need to log back in just a second here. So what happens is and again, I'm not the expert on this. So pretty sure this has some tokens in it. All right, here we go. So see down here, these tokens, you'll notice here that somebody could utilize these token values because they're still available. So when you convert it into a token code, you can then send that out and be utilized. So that's how it works. And so it's just a way that you can go in and again, I'm not the right one to do it, but you go in here and you say buy a token. And then you'll see down here, view more tokens. There's so many different potential values. And so we'll make sure that there's some in there. And the idea behind it is that if you need a certain amount, you can go over here and you can add to the cart, right? See that? So we can create a $1 token. The only problem is I believe we're limited to 99 here. Let's just keep going.
There's no way to create our own token from what's in our wallet.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you're doing that right here. But I think you're limited to $99 or 99 tokens. That's the limitation.
But then you're giving some, it doesn't make sense anyways, because when you check out eventually, it's going to be dollars and cents, with products.
Yep.
So
and we're working on that, Calvin.
Okay, good.
As is right now, there should be every potential option you need inside the back office. But obviously, as we move into products and things like that, we'll have to do something there. So
yeah, and there is, because obviously our teams that are using them are doing well with them. They have no problem. And if they have a certain token they need, they'll tell you guys and look at you guys have added them all. So
yep,
perfect.
for sure.
Okay, cool. Any other questions that you guys have? Any other questions?
I got a question, Calvin.
Go ahead.
Hi, guys. Good morning, everybody. This is Gasser from Allentown, PA. Just a quick question for Brad. I work for a large food and beverage company, and where a lot of executives and employees travel for work. And I understand why we're encouraged to enroll individuals. Does JIFU ever think about joint venture with corporates like this and have corporate accounts tailored to them for their employees to use?
Yeah, I mean, we do that. There's times, for example, GARF, their executives actually each have a portal. And so, yeah, companies do that. We don't have a problem with a company actually enrolling. In fact, you'll notice it actually is a great way to do it. I've flown almost 2 million miles on Delta, right? And if I had JIFU in my past companies, I can't imagine how much money I would have saved. So it's a good proposition to businesses for sure. So
would it be the same way that we enroll individuals, or is it a different way?
Nope, same thing. They can enroll using an EIN number instead of yeah, for sure. We have companies all the time do it. LLCs. In fact, I believe Calvin, you're enrolled as an LLC, if I remember right. So that's not an issue with us at all. So you're more than welcome to go talk to them about the benefit of it and things like that.
And they will be able to have multiple users using the same account.
Well, so what we actually said, so like, for example, at GARF, when we set it up for them, the idea was actually that not only could they save money, right? But also it's a benefit to them personally. And so what we've made the pitch with them is, give one to each one of your people. And then that way you're now enrolling 3, 4, 5 different people in one shot. So it's a great way to do it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome.
And just remember, you can have up to 10 people in your back off in the travel portal as well too. So you could sell one, and then they could use it up for up to 10 people as well. So that's another potential option.
So you
Great,
said,
thanks.
say it again, in the travel port, you can add 10 people. What is that?
Yeah. So here, let me just open mine.
'Cause I know I've done that and you add them as a traveler or cool.
Yep.
So this is how you guys can book, like, let's say your mother-in-law is coming into town, or you're booking for your dad or your brother, your sister. He's going to show you really quickly, if you were to go book a hotel, let's say someone else is going to be there. How would you book that?
Yeah. So let me share this really quick. So this is my profile. So you can see here my profile. And then here are my travelers that are on here. See this?
Awesome.
You can have up to 10 at a time. So like, this is my buddy from business school. This is my brother-in-law. This is, Matt's wife, my sister, my brother-in-law. So, that's another way you could potentially do it.
Cool. So when you book something, you just add them as a traveler, right?
Correct.
And then they can go check into the hotel under their name because it was already purchased.
That's right.
And then it's already paid up front, obviously, with your card through JIFU. And then they
Yep.
just can add their card for incidentals. Okay, easy enough. That's what people want to know as well,
Yep.
Cool. Well, all right. So I just want to, I think that's our time, because you need to head back over here because we got to get our meeting started. But let's see. Look at, can Mr. Garf make special discounts? Hey, weren't we talking about that?
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
Good question.
I love how you call him Mr. Garf. Please do. When you meet him, call him Mr. Garf. That'll make him happy. He's so funny being called Mr. It cracks me up. I'm the same way. I'm not a big fan of being called Mr. But yeah, I mean, I mean, it'd be fun to create some sort of thing. What's really funny is before Kyle joined us, I was talking to him on the phone. I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm actually, buying a Porsche." And I said, "Oh, where are you buying a Porsche at?" He said, "At Garf." And I go, wait. So I said, I hung up with Kyle and I called Matt and I said, "Hey, my cousin is at your dealership down there at the point of the mountain in Lehigh." And he says, "Wait, what?" He is okay. He goes, so he hangs up, calls the general manager. The general manager comes out, shakes Kyle's hand and says, "All right, here's your new deal." So Matt's all about, creating a solution for that works for people. So unfortunately, I have yet to buy a car from Matt. But we tend to drive our cars a long time. So anyways.
Yeah. So I plan on, I know my wife wants the newer Range Rover one day, right after she's done driving the school bus that she has for all her kids.
Yeah.
But for sure I'll be coming to Garth.
Yeah.
For that special
He's a good
Garth deal.
They are a good group of people. And I'm not just saying that because he's my partner. The reputation they have is unbelievable. So
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
Hey, Calvin, I have one more quick question before we hop off with him.
Okay.
Brad, can you clarify the visiting a resort one time only that you briefly mentioned a couple of trainings ago? Was that for the ERC? Like if you go to
no, so the rule,
vacation-
the rule that we have with the typical vacation voucher is you can't go to the same place every year. And when we say the same place, we're not even talking about the resort. You can't go to the same location. So you can't go to Vegas every year using that. So yeah, so that's one of
and
the
that's the redeem vouchers or the
redeem
ERC?
voucher. You redeem voucher, yeah.
So I know
Oh,
ERC. I know the
okay.
answer to the ERC, just so you know that. It's you can't go to the same place every year either. So every other year is fine, as long as it has to be 2 years in between. So which gives us all an opportunity to go to this one this year, that one next year, this one the next year, then you can come back again. But they want you going to different resorts and sharing that experience so people actually go book it and go stay there as well. That's the whole point. So they're giving us this hooked up. Literally, all of us have the opportunity every year to have a free $10,000 resort vacation just for the cost of a $30 membership. That's crazy enough. Everybody should be joining you just for that. Okay. I have people who don't do network marketing who've joined me, like 20 people just for that. Thank you. So you guys can all do the same thing, but
Okay, I think he said that it was also the redeem voucher as well. So both vouchers have a city limit, like limitation.
Nope, ERC is fine. Once a year, you can use that. Go where you want to go. It's amazing what you're able to do with I just love it. I just absolutely love that Vedanta. I honestly can't say enough about it. But even inside the Redeem, there's a resort called the Fives down there in Cancun. Unbelievable.
Uh-oh,
Right?
Heather.
It's amazing.
Don't get me started on that.
So
All right, cool. Hey, but I'm staying at the Vedanta in July. I'm gonna bring my whole video crew there. I will make the coolest video for you guys to use for marketing, but we're gonna show like off the Vedanta and what we get for free every year. So staying at the Grand Lux in Puerto Vallarta, it's gonna be fun.
Well, I'm going in October to the Bliss, Grand Bliss in Cancun. That's
Yeah.
what the Cirque du Soleil. So I'm going to film some stuff there too.
Okay, please.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's actually where we stayed, Heather. I can't remember which level we stayed. It doesn't matter. They're all freaking amazing. But my family, my wife's family travels a ton. You know, the brothers are executives. One's a nurse anesthetist. And anyways, long story short, they all said that was their favorite place they'd ever stayed. And we all travel all over. So yeah.
Awesome. So again, if you guys started with 2 or more vouchers, one of those you could swap out for an ERC. So you guys can stay at one of the Vedantas.
Yep.
After year 1, every single year, we all have a redeemed vacations voucher the company gives us every year. On top of that, you can pay $150 for an ERC voucher, which gives you access to the Vedanta again. We get to do that every single year, you guys. Use them because you're going to build a huge business as soon as you start experiencing that stuff. So again, hey, Brad, thanks a lot for jumping on this morning. I'll see you here. I know you got to jump in the car.
No problem.
I see BT excited right now, so that's cool. Yeah. So again, Heather, everybody, Nahal, all of you guys, thanks for jumping on and asking your questions. It really helped a lot with our call. We appreciate you. It was recorded. I will get this downloaded and put into our group chat ASAP and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Let's have a big week, you guys. We're going to continue this stuff. We want to get you guys motivated and inspired to go out there and make it happen and just share all the value that JIFU has to offer our friends. Okay. All right. See you guys. I'm trying to jump in
guys.
last
Good to be with you. Enjoy the weekend.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.